If you enjoy what you hear here today, please consider supporting me on my Patreon page. Every dollar helps, and you get to see content that you won't see here. Chapter 11. Meanwhile. Canterlot Castle. To say that the last couple of days had been hectic would be a vast understatement. Even now, Captain Broadsword was stuck in his office, going over the various reports and paperwork that had been flooding his desk. Each and every single one of them were reports related to the same thing: the mysterious red-eyed changelings. Not only had more sightings been reported since patrols were stepped up, but the situation had escalated. The report he was looking at now was one such example, and in the opened file, 3 pictures of ponies from the EUP stared back. Each one had the word deceased written on them. Skytail, Nimble Force, and Onyx Shield were their names. EUP soldiers who were respectively a Pegasus, a Unicorn, and an Earth Pony. All 3 were part of the same squad, stationed at Fort Hurricane, and all 3 had been ambushed and murdered by the changelings in question. Broadsword sighed, rubbing his face with his hooves in exasperation. This attack was one of several, all of them ending the exact same way for those unlucky enough to get too close to the changelings. It was the few survivors of these strikes that filled in the details of their attackers, how they seemed almost feral, and yet organized and tactical when they needed to be. In other words, a pounding headache for Broadsword. And that's not even to mention the fact that, very worryingly, the majority of these skirmishes seemed to be in relatively close proximity to Queen Twilight Sparkle's hive, although thankfully, the changeling representatives in Canterlot had confirmed that no incidents had occurred at the hive itself. The captain sighed again, deeper this time. He closed up the folder and leaned back in his chair, closing his eyes for a few moments as his muzzle pointed upwards towards the ceiling. As he swam deep within his own thoughts, he completely missed the door to his office being opened.
Am I interrupting you, Captain?
Broadsword jolted back to life on hearing that familiar motherly voice, scrambling clumsily off his chair as he attempted to stand to attention. Oh, Princess Celestia, I wasn't expecting you, Your Highness, he hurriedly explained. To what do I owe the pleasure? Celestia chuckled lightly.
Calm yourself, Captain. We all need a bit of sleep every now and then.
I wasn't sleeping, he quickly protested. I was contemplating. I've been reading these reports for the last several hours, and I needed to think on it all.
My sister tells me your counterpart is of a similar disposition at this time,
Celestia said.
And, to be honest, we ourselves have fared little better.
She moved deeper into the room, stopping on the opposite side of the desk. Celestia motioned the captain of the Royal Guard to sit back down, which he did without question, and she eyed the mentioned reports scattered across the table. Quickly scanning the headers for a moment, she decided to move back to the topic at hoof, the one she had come to discuss.
I have just received word that Queen Twilight Sparkle is on her way to the city as we speak. A letter arrived via Dragonfire informing us of such, delivered by Spike, as you can no doubt imagine.
Broadsword blinked. She's coming here?
That is what I said, is it not?
Her tone was serious, but it was betrayed by the light smile upon her lips. But why? He asked in confusion. I thought the council was still on.
It is,
the Princess of the Sun responded.
The first session just ended, and an arrangement has been made.
An arrangement? The stallion's eyebrow quirked.
Spike was brief in his message, but it seems that Twilight intends to leave, to lead an expedition up to Queen Draco's hive.
She has been wanting to do that since this started, Broadsword noted.
I had predicted as such. She always has liked to delve deep into any given crisis, instead of cowering away and letting others handle it,
Celestia commented, a not-so-subtle hint of pride in her voice.
She intends to investigate whatever Queen Draco discovered up at that hive, and see if it connects to what has been witnessed thus far.
Isn't that dangerous? Broadsword asked. Queen Draco would have explored it, and she and her hive were the first to vanish. If Twilight Sparkle and her changelings go there, I fear there's a strong likelihood they won't return.
She agrees,
Celestia said, much to Broadsword's surprise. She does? His head tilted to the side, a thoroughly confused look across his muzzle.
It never said so in the letter. All Spike said was they planned to go to Draco's hive as agreed with the other changeling queens, and that they would be arriving in Canterlot soon.
Then why claim she agrees? The Solar Captain inquired. If it said no such thing in the message.
Ah, but it did, Celestia stated with a knowing smirk. They will be arriving here in Canterlot when they reach Equestria.
And...
Captain, if she thought she and her changelings could handle this alone, she would waste no time and would be heading straight for the hive by now, she stated. No, she's coming here first. Thus, she intends to ask for our assistance in this matter.
Celestia's horn lit up, and with her magic, she gathered up all the stray reports on Broadsword's desk and swiftly put them all neatly away. He wouldn't be needing the reports for a while, not with the new assignment she was about to bestow upon him.
Thusly, Captain, I want you to coordinate with your counterpart and prepare 5 of your best guards each. I shall have 3 helicopters prepared for departure to carry the Solar, Lunar, and Changeling Royal Guard that will be going with Twilight.
Princess?
I want you and Captain Vladimir to keep Twilight safe. Whatever is affecting the changelings, I want you to prevent it from happening to her and her changelings. Understood?
I understand, Your Highness, Broadsword confirmed. Have you sent Queen Twilight the details of your little plan yet?
No, but we will discuss it upon her arrival, she stated, though I imagine she will agree wholeheartedly. I have always been good at anticipating her moves.
You did teach her, Broadsword commented. So, that's 5 guards in each vehicle, myself, Vladimir, and I imagine Captain Scorpion, plus Twilight. I don't doubt Spike will come along too, and then if you include the 3 pilots, that's 23 of us in total. A sizable escort for her, I can make it work. Broadsword rubbed his chin, his mind working out the details as he went. Of course, we would also have to pass through the frozen north. Good thing we got those upgrades, and those enchantments should protect the helicopters from the blizzard. Long enough for us to make it to the Crystal Empire for a temporary stop at least, and then up to Draco's Hive from there. Celestia nodded.
It sounds like you have everything in order, but there is one last thing.
Broadsword raised an eyebrow. Yes, Your Highness?
I want you to also prepare an extensive security detail for Twilight while she is here.
Your Highness, by the time she arrives, I'll have prepared her escort. She won't be here long.
I will not take any chances with recent events playing out as they have,
The princess retorted.
I trust you shall see to it, Captain.
Broadsword nodded for the affirmative. I'll see it done. Don't worry yourself.
Good. My sister will have already discussed this with Captain Vladimir, so I now leave this to both of your discretions. Are you serious?
Scarlet all but demanded to know.
This sounds dangerous, even for you.
Scarlet and her husband sat with Vladimir at a local bar. Around a table they sat at, holding 3 drinks and nibbles. Valiant Snow was not present. He was too early in the day, and he was still at school, something for which Scarlet was thankful. Both captains were still adorned in their armors. It was lunchtime, and they had just come down from the castle, but their helmets were off and sitting by their sides. I'd say we've done more dangerous things, Vladimir interjected. A lot more dangerous things. Hey, we don't know if they will actually find anything up there.
Don't give me that shit. It's the unknown of it all that worries me, Scarlet retorted. And it should worry you too.
She frowned at the pair of them. Honey, we'll be fine, Broadsword assured his wife. Besides, I remember a time where you would be the first in line to come with us.
That was before our son, Broad, Scarlet reminded him. The last time you went off fighting without me was at the Battle of Ponyville, and I had never been so scared in my entire career in the EUP, in my entire life. And now with Valiant, what do I tell him?
The truth, he responded. He knows what my job is. He'll understand. Besides, I'll have Vladimir to watch my back. I'm not sure if that's reassuring, the Thestral in question joked. But joking aside, we'll also have Queen Twilight there. We'll be fine, we promise. Scarlet sighed in defeat.
Just be sure this is a promise you can keep.
Hey, don't worry, Vladimir stated. I for one fully plan to come back without a scratch on me. You just watch. What he said, Broadsword agreed. In all likelihood, we'll just find an empty hive with some equally empty old ruins nearby. Scarlet knew enough about her husband to know when he was lying to her.
Please don't,
Scarlet stated.
You might find that, but that isn't the likelihood, now is it?
Broadsword's face drooped, and he took a quiet swig from his drink before he spoke. No, it isn't. Queen Draco was the first to go, and it was when she was due to explore the ruins she had found. It's the entire reason we're heading up there at all.
Well, if you so insist on going up there, do try to at least stop the bad guys, huh?
Scarlet insisted, her frown slowly being replaced with a small smirk.
Show them how much of a big hero my wonderful husband is.
Broadsword visibly blushed. Well, I kinda intend to do that thing. It is my job, after all. Smooth words, Casanova, Vladimir jabbed. Pillow talk must be so fun with you two.
Talk?
Scarlet had a cruel smirk on her face.
He's so worn out afterwards, he couldn't talk if he wanted to.
Broadsword buried his face in his hooves, embarrassed and desperately trying to pretend he was anywhere else at the moment. But the sniggers of his wife and friend were unfortunate reminders that he was nowhere else, and would not be escaping this torment so easily.
Oh, look at him, Scarlet said. He's gone so red. Oh, what happened to the big, gruff commander of old?
You happened, he responded through his hooves. Being strung up in a cave by a changeling masquerading as you also caused you to contemplate your life.
So which one of us is more impactful, me or Infiltrator Serpens?
Broadsword laughed. If I had to choose which one I prefer, it would be you, so I think I'll make that my answer.
Good choice.
Vladimir finished up his drink and, seeing that Broadsword only had a dribble left himself, he decided it was time to make a move. Broadsword, we should go. The princesses have given us a lot of work to do. He's right, Broadsword agreed, necking what was left of his beverage and getting up. Honey, I'll see you tonight.
Of course,
she said, accepting a kiss on the cheek before whispering into his ear.
And if you're going to be leaving soon, before you do, I expect a very strong goodbye.
Blushing again, Broadsword simply nodded before quickly vacating the bar, much to his wife's amusement. Shaking his head, Vladimir followed the Pegasus outside. Was it too hot in there for you or something? Shut up, Captain, Broadsword shot back. Ugh, come on. Broadsword opened his wings and took off in the direction of the castle. Shaking off his amused smirk, Vladimir extended his leathery, bat-like wings and did the same. As they both soared through the air above the buildings and ponies below, Vladimir flew close enough in parallel with his counterpart so they could easily enough converse. If we're arranging these teams, we might want to choose some of our best subordinates, Vladimir stated. Scarlet was right about one thing. The unknown of it all is rather daunting. We'll be ready nevertheless, Broadsword replied. When we get back to the castle, selecting who we take with us should be our first job. What of the Queen's security detail? We've got a couple days before they get back to Equestria, Broadsword pointed out. Organizing the escort for her takes priority right now. When her arrival gets closer, we'll get domestic security ready then. Understood. I hear we'll be dropping off at the Crystal Empire on the way? That's correct. At least we'll be able to catch up with Shining Armor for a little while before we continue on. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped on and comes with us, Vladimir stated. but we'll see. It does seem like something he would do, but then again he has his own duties to attend to, Broadsword replied. It may not be such a good idea for him to neglect them. We'll have to wait to see Queen Twilight's opinion on the matter. She will be the boss. Indeed. Still, that's a while off yet. Let's focus on the here and now. We have a job to do.